Yo, what's good everyone? Today I'm going to be taking a first look here at this Week 16 NFL DraftKings main slate. Let's dive right into it. And like I always do here in these videos, I'm going to go position by position, highlighting the plays that are sticking out to me here early in the week, and then we'll wrap up this video by putting together a first look cash lineup and a first look tournament lineup. With that being said, let's dive into the quarterbacks here, 16 weeks into the NFL season, and this is the grossest slate to date when it comes to this position. Again, it's early Tuesday here, maybe I'm missing something, but looking at the top of these quarterbacks here, the elite quarterbacks, let's call them, Jane Daniels playing the Philadelphia Eagles. Don't love it. Don't mind Joe Burrow here playing Cleveland, actually, but at $7,500, you're certainly paying for it for a quarterback who doesn't run the ball. Jalen Hurts here against Washington. Honestly, that's probably my favorite play here of the elite plays. And then Josh Allen going up against New England. Now, obviously, Josh Allen's been playing fantastic football really all season long, but especially here in his last two games, 54 and 44 DraftKings points. But his opponents put up 40 plus on that defense as well, and I just don't foresee the New England Patriots doing that here this week, so I doubt we're going to get one of those 40-point performances out of Josh Allen, and we're really paying for it here now at $8,700. So let's scroll down here into the 6K range. Kyler Murray, I know he's kind of been up and down this year, but I do really like the matchup here against Carolina, one of the worst defenses in the NFL, a defense we've been picking on all season long, and Kyler here at $6,100 is a quarterback who brings that rushing upside, a little safer floor with a decent ceiling, especially in a matchup like that. So I do like him here this week. I'm probably going to shoot myself in the foot for this, but Aaron Rodgers going up against the Rams, I don't mind this. Purely tournament for me, I probably wouldn't play him in my cash lineup, but 20 DraftKings points there in his last two games, close to 300 passing yards last week, hit that the week before, multiple touchdowns now in three of his last four games, so honestly, I don't mind that considering the price, and Devontae Adams has really come on here with the Jets. Obviously, we got Garrett Wilson there too, so some easy stacking pieces, and then Anthony Richardson, horrible throwing quarterback if you watch him play, but again, we're talking about the rushing upside here. You can see they're 10, 10, 9, and 7 rushing attempts in his last four games. It's really what you're banking on. At this price here, $5,400, I do think he can hit 3x value in this matchup against Tennessee, so I think early in the week here, he's my preferred cash game quarterback. Now, moving on to the running backs, and there are some nice plays at this position here this week, but you're going to have to spend up for it, and really what I'm looking at here is James Cook and above is kind of the tier 1 plays, but my preferred plays of this group here are going to be Chase Brown going up against Cleveland. This guy has been a volume monster in this offense. If the Cincinnati Bengals are winning, he's getting more rushing attempts. If they're losing, he's more involved in the passing game, so really game script proof, and now we're paying for it, like I said, at $7,700 here, but he truly has been great in that offense as of late. Being that David Montgomery got put on the shelf here, Jahmyr Gibbs should see 20 plus touches in this game here. Another guy who's just so heavily involved in the passing game, but the rushing attempts should go up. Being that Monty is out, he might be my favorite play there at $7,500. And then Devon Achane, it's the same song and dance with this guy week in and week out. Sure, he's involved in the running game, but more importantly, heavily involved in the passing game. He really kind of acts as a wide receiver in that offense. And then my last preferred play here is James Conner. Smash matchup going up against Carolina. Again, a defense we've been picking on all year long. He's another guy who's game script proof. If they're losing in this game, which they shouldn't be, but he's going to be more involved in the passing game then. If they're winning in this game, which they should be, he's going to see more rushing attempts, which should bode well against that Carolina defense. So again, James Cook and above, those are my preferred plays there as kind of the tier 1 plays, if you will. But I really like Isaac Guerendo here. You know what these running backs do in this Kyle Shanahan 49ers offense, so he's probably one of my favorite cash game plays here at this price, a $6,700. And then outside of that, I'm not in love with the low 6K range, and the 5K range, in my opinion, really wasn't offering much. Tyrone Tracy's getting decent volume right now, but just a horrible situation at the quarterback position for the New York Giants. The last guy I really want to highlight here is Aaron Jones. Good matchup here against Seattle. Don't mind the price of $6,400. His workload goes a little up and down at times, but pretty consistent for the most part. Played well here on Monday night against Chicago, so at $6,400, I think we'll be talking about him too. Moving on to the wide receivers, and I've really kind of breaking these into two different tiers here at the top. Tier 1, in my opinion, is Amon-Ra St. Brown and above, so Puka Nacua, Justin Jefferson, and Jamar Chase in that group. And then Tier 2, in my opinion, is Garrett Wilson to A.J. Brown. Now, of my preferred plays here from Garrett Wilson and above, I'm looking at Jamar Chase right at the top. You could easily price him in the 9K range right now. You could see there 11 plus targets in 4 of his last 5 games. And the one game where he didn't get there, he still had 9 targets, which is translated to some big DraftKings performances. Like I said, we could easily price him in the 9K range, and I think people would still play him. And then my other preferred play here at the top is Davante Adams. As I mentioned when talking about Aaron Rodgers, this guy has really come on here with the Jets. You can see there 11 plus targets in 4 of his last 5 games, which is translated to some big performances here. Really just getting better by the week. 13, 17, 28, and 45 DraftKings points in his last 4 games. So it's $7,100 there considering the matchup against the Rams. I like Adams as well. Now scrolling down here in the 6K range, Jerry Jeudy's been playing some really good football here as of late, but I'm not entirely sure that Jameis Winston is going to start here this week, so we need to keep an eye on that. Wouldn't want to play him if Jameis Winston does not start. Brian Thomas Jr. here has been surprisingly good with Mac Jones under center. Obviously, he was playing some really good football with Trevor Lawrence, but 10, 12, and 14 targets there in his last 3 games. Look at the DraftKings numbers as well. Move my head out of the way. I think he's in play there at $6,300. Also, Malik Neighbors here, really a similar situation. Not great quarterback play, but the volume has been there. Double-digit targets in 4 of his last 5 games. Decent DraftKings numbers there as well for a guy priced at $6,100. Jackson Smith and Jigba. Want to highlight both him and DK Metcalf here at $5,500. This is the cheapest that Metcalf has been all season long. He was priced at $5,900 back in week 2, but that got priced into the 7K range, so we're getting him at a massive discount, and I don't mind that matchup there for either wide receiver, JSN or DK, playing against Minnesota. But keep an eye on Geno too. He is questionable heading here into week 16. And then this 5K range has some decent value. I'm going to highlight them all together here. Jacoby Myers, Devontae Smith, and DJ Moore, all priced here in the upper 5K range. I think they're all offering some nice value. And then one guy here in the 4K range that I think is offering some nice value is Jalen Cocker here, the Carolina Panthers. He's played some good football when in the lineup. He was a little banged up here earlier this season, but came back here in week 15, 6 targets, 110 receiving yards, albeit a really long touchdown at 83 yards. But considering the price there at $4,200, I think that's a value play here for week 16. Next, we got the tight ends here, and honestly, everyone, I'm looking at the top here at Jonnu Smith, George Kittle, Trey McBride, and assuming that Aiden O'Connell comes back for the Raiders this week, Brock Bowers. All 4 of those guys have been seeing solid volume really all year long. Jonnu Smith, especially as of late, have touchdown upside and sitting in some decent matchups. So I think they're cash game viable for sure. I know there's some value here in the 3K range to where we probably don't need to spend up at this position this week. But again, when it comes to tournaments, I think all 4 of those guys are going to be in play. I do like Sam Laporta here at $4,700. Again, David Montgomery out for the season. I think they're probably going to throw the ball just a little bit more. Laporta's really come on here as of late. His price has gone up a little bit, but still very affordable there at $4,700. And then in the 3K range here, Brenton Strange at $3,500. 12 targets last week with Evan Ingram out. Really like to see that for a guy priced there at $3,500. So in my opinion, that's the value play here early in the week. And then just like the quarterback position, I can't say I'm in love with the defenses here early on in the week. If I'm looking to spend up here, I don't mind the Bengals playing Cleveland, especially if Jameis Winston does start. He had 3 more interceptions again last week before being pulled. And this defense can make plays. They give up a lot of points, but usually can make enough plays to where they rack up enough DraftKings points to hit value. But like I said, it's kind of a gross slate here this week. Again, I don't love this, but the Chicago Bears at home against Detroit, maybe. I think they could play well enough at $2,200. Maybe we can get some really bad weather in that game, playing outdoors. But again, everyone, I'm hoping some value opens up here later in the week. Maybe we get a major injury against a team that one of these defenses are playing against. But as it sits here right now, I think I'd prefer to get up to Cincinnati. And if I can't, maybe Chicago? Alright everyone, now let's put together a first look cash lineup here, but before we do that actually, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. It's completely free to do, and every like, comment, and sub that you guys leave truly does help me out. Plus, I want to mention here, I do run a free Discord channel as well. If you want to join that, there's a link to do so in the description below, as well as in the pinned comment below. We have over 850 people in there talking NFL DFS. But let's build this first look cash lineup here. Honestly, everyone, like I said, quarterback position is pretty gross this week. So let's just go down here to Anthony Richardson at $5,400. I like the matchup at home here against Tennessee. And again, he does bring a safer floor with that rushing upside. When it comes to the running backs here this week, let's spend up for Gibbs. Let's put in Guerrero. And honestly, let's go one more running back there with James Conner as well. Love that matchup against the Carolina Panthers. Where is he? He's priced at $7,100. Okay, all right. Wide receivers, we're going to need to save a little bit of money, but I want to try and put in Devontae Adams if I can. And then we're going to need to save some money here. And I know we can do that with Jalen Cocker, so let's go to $4,200. Put him in there. Let's go to the tight end position as well. Put in Strange at $35. And we have 42 left over. So, considering I don't really love the wide receiver range in the 4K range outside of Cocker, let's pay down for the Bears. I know it's ugly, but that opens up some decent money here. We could go with Brian Thomas. We can go with Jackson Smith and Jigba. We could go Devontae Smith, DJ Moore. Let's put in Brian Thomas here for starters. I honestly don't mind that cash lineup, minus the defense with the Bears. And then my favorite part of this video, putting together a first look tournament lineup here. Let's kick it off at the quarterback position. Being that James Conner is probably going to be one of the most popular running backs on this slate, let's build around him. So we're not going to put him in the lineup. Attack Arizona still. We're going to stack up Kyler here with Trey McBride, just a 1-to-1 stack. Being that Kyler brings that rushing upside, we kind of hope that he scores a rushing touchdown, and then run it back with a really cheap play here in Jalen Cocker. All right, so we got a lot of money left over here to build the rest of our lineup. Let's spend up for a couple of running backs. Let's go with Gibbs. And let's go with Guerrero there again. Really do like that spot against Miami. The volume should be there. And then let's go with this 5K range of wide receivers. So let's go with DK Metcalf. Let's go with DJ Moore. Both sitting in some really nice matchups there. Let's just put in a defense here with Chicago again. I'm just going to punt with the Bears here early on in the week. And then $5,900 left over for a flex. We could go a handful of different ways here, but let's go with Devontae Smith there against Washington. Likely going to have Lattimore on A.J. Brown in that game. So for a first look tournament lineup, I kind of like that. All right, everyone, that is going to wrap up this video here for today. As always, thank y'all for taking the time out of your day to watch the content here on this channel. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that.